In this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 clean amps on the Fractal FM3 Mark II Turbo. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Doctor McFarland, and I'm not sure if you've noticed yet or not, but there is just a slew of amps in the Fractal world. So let's go through some of these here, and I mean, honestly, it's just nuts how many we have. I mean, we got tons of high gain stuff here, but the first one let's look at is let's look at some of the Tweed stuff. This is actually pretty cool. So now obviously that's a very low level, so we're going to go to the right and then maybe bring up the gain just a little bit. We can also adjust our levels here. And honestly, I mean, it's a decent clean sound. Now, notice that we don't have any tone controls really. We can adjust our input EQ by possibly adjusting our definition. And wow, in literally 0 seconds, I just took a very dull, not a lot of treble sounding amp and just boosted up some EQ, and there you go. So we're going to call that channel A because wow, that sounds really good. Then if we go in and possibly maybe restore that and turn on some delay now. But notice that our red LEDs are getting a little high there, so we can actually bring down our amp level. So that's just super convenient and not having to go into each individual block and make that happen. So that is our first amp, and that's just a good all-around amp. And we'll go back to page, and we're going to change the channel here to channel B. And obviously anything that says clean on it should be fairly clean, but sometimes you want a little bit of character in your chords and stuff. But the ODS 100 clean is a very good clean amp. And if we exit out of that, we can see by our meters that we're kind of low, so we can bring up our amp level, so we can bring up our block level. Okay, very cool. We can store that as our channel B, go back into our layout, and this turn to go to channel C, go to edit. And let's use our navigation buttons here. And let's go into P area, and let's go find a Princeton reverb. I'm not sure about you guys, but I definitely had a Princeton reverb from the 70s. It was one of my first amplifiers, first big boy amplifiers after graduating college. And got it at Guitar Center. And just loved that amp for years. And thankfully, modeling has come a long way to where we can get that same kind of sound right here in our digital modeler and take it anywhere we go. So here's the Princeton reverb. And what do you know? We're a little loud. So let's take the gain down first of all. So you can crank up an amp if you want to, but if you want to keep it nice and clean, you want to roll that gain down, maybe take out a little bit of bass. I am currently on the neck pickup of my Kiesel Aries neck through. Let me bring the treble up a little bit. All right, so keeping an eye on our meters there, we can use our block level. Make sure it's staying around that 0 mark, and that's going to be really, really good. Let's go back to layout, go to channel D, and this might end up being a top 4 amps, but we'll keep it 5. We'll reuse one of these channels here to do something cool. So now the Bogner Shiva amplifiers, they have a clean and a lead channel. These are great amps. I just like them overall. So here's a clean sound. Go over to our tone. Or bring up the gain a bit. Bring up our master volume. We do have a bright switch on there. Okay, make sure, or we check our levels. Okay, we're going to store this, and then we're going to go back to channel A and cycle through and listen to all the different clean sounds we have. So here is channel A, B, C, a little bit brighter, and then channel D. And that has a good overall sound. Let's go back to channel A here, and let's replace it with one more thing. And this is an amp that I really have grown to love, and you can literally use it for everything. So the CA3 Clean Lead and Rhythm. If you only had to choose one amp in the whole entire Fractal universe, these 3 channels right here, it can really get you everything you need. You don't need all 250 odd something amps. The CA3 Plus is a rack amplifier from like the 80s or something, and it just had 3 different channels built in. It's just really that good. So here's the clean channel. Let's go over and let's dial it in a little bit. Yeah, wow, it's really good. And if we go back, we can check our levels, which is way too loud. So let's bring this down. All right, so don't worry too much about how loud you're actually hearing it. You always want to test everything against actual meters, so that way you're hitting the same 0 mark on all presets, all amps, most of your drives, if you want it to be a certain level, because actual volume level in your headphones or through your studio monitors or an FR speaker could be very deceiving. So you always want to make sure that you're adjusting your meters accordingly. So that way, when you show up to a gig and you're sending a signal through the front of house, you're not crapping out their preamps because you're just hitting it with so much volume. So I hope that is helpful. Let me know what kind of clean amps that you would choose on the Fractal FM3. And in the meantime, I'm Dr. McFarland. I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.